Hello, ObiWan Kamusaka, and welcome back to everyone to Beyond the Northern Wall, your weekly talk show with me, your host, Kayla Malari, one of the co-founders and the current CEO for the Core Dance Crew. I have literally 5 screens going on right now, and I am distracted, so give me 2 seconds to not do that. Anyways, today is May 4th. I am wearing my Star Wars shirt. I love this shirt. It's got a little Yoda on the bottom. It says, physically I'm here, mentally I'm in a galaxy far, far away, because it's May the 4th. It is Star Wars Day. And here's the thing. Beyond the Northern Wall, if this is your first time here, Beyond the Northern Wall is a talk show that talks about anything and everything related to the Core Dance Crew. Everything correlated. Get that pun? So that means we talk about obvious anime. Wow. Don't know where I'm pointing. Anime and manga. We talk about comic books. We talk about books, television shows, movies, anything pop culture really. And of course we're a dance crew, so we talk about dance. We also talk about a lot of social issues because we are a small business that's building. It's woman-led, it's POC-led, and super diverse. So we have a lot to talk about. But the one thing that hasn't been related to core is actually Star Wars, which I'm actually going to talk about today. May the 4th be with you, because for a team that has a lot of nerds on it, that cosplays, that dances at conventions like WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con, where honestly Star Wars is still such a big thing, I say still, it will always be a big thing. This cosplay group has never once done a Star Wars set. That is a real statement. We have never done a Star Wars set. And why? Is it because we're not Star Wars fans? 1,000% no. That is not true at all. We are Star Wars fans. A lot of us on the team and over the years have been fans with Star Wars. You're talking to one right now. Let's get into it. This is how big of a Star Wars fan I was. So, Nerd who co-founded a team that cosplays and dances as anime characters forever, okay? This is me. We're talking about me. When I was a kid, like elementary school years, there were only 2 things I wanted the most out of the world. Like, I used to make wishes as a child because I only wanted 2 things. One was I wanted to be a Super Saiyan. With every fiber of my being, I wanted to be a Saiyan. I didn't even care if I was like a Z Warrior or like I knew Goku. I didn't care about that. I just wanted to be a Saiyan. And I wanted to train as a Saiyan, and I would wish every night to be a Saiyan. And the second thing that I wanted was I wanted to be a Jedi Knight. And I think the only reason I wasn't either or was because I couldn't commit to either Saiyan or a Jedi Knight. And that's why the universe never granted me either. So, commit to one. But I loved Star Wars as a kid. My first figure that I ever built was a Naboo starfighter. And it wasn't like people rock the Rebel symbol, people rock the Empire symbol. Some people even rock the First Order, which is, people who rock the Empire and the First Order, questionable. You probably also wear an Akatsuki cloud, don't you? Which is weird. I always wore, I can't find them. I'm so mad. The one day I need to wear them. I have earrings of the Jedi Order, like the symbol of the Jedi Order. There's like main symbols in Star Wars. It's the symbol on the title card. It's the Jedi Order. I was always a Jedi. Didn't care. I didn't want to learn about the Empire. I didn't care about the Dagobah system's pretty cool. I love the politics of it. I love the storyline of it. Who doesn't love Leia and Han Solo's story? Blah blah blah. I wanted to be a Jedi Knight. Hey, let's get a quick cameo. Rostin's here. Babe, come in and say hi. You just came home from work. Say hi. Do you like Star Wars? Oh, that's as much as you're gonna get out of Levi. That was pretty accurate. Rostin plays Levi on our team, and that's the most he'll say about anything at one section. Anyways, he brought me my coffee. So I was going to stick with the theme of drinks for the stream. I know last week we did drinks and catching up, and I introduced you guys to the Cocho poison, which clearly I've had a little bit too much of a wisteria poison. That was really fun, and I shared that recipe with patrons on our Patreon. I was going to follow that up because I just think that was kind of fun having these themed drinks for the streams. And I was going to make a Tatooine, wow, it's not Tatooine. A blue milk, a bantha milk, and I found a really great recipe for it. But I also had rehearsal today for work, and I barely got home in time for this stream, so that's the other reason why. We're going to good old faithful. We need to talk about Star Wars. And how much we love Star Wars. And how much we love Star Wars. You guys see Trini is in the chat. Trini is one of our veterans, has been with us forever, also loves Star Wars. And so it's kind of wondering, you're like, you guys perform at conventions where a Star Wars set would be readily received. So if you love it, and it's something that means something to you, why have you not done a Star Wars set? And this is the main and only reason. This is the only reason. Is because one of our favorite fellow performers at conventions is a group called the Sabre Guild. The Sabre Guild is awesome. You can look them up. They have their own website and everything. They're a faction of individuals that help train like a Jedi Academy. It's really awesome. They've actually performed for Star Wars events, official Star Wars events in the past. And whenever we go to WonderCon, what was that? Whenever we go to WonderCon, and every time we go to San Diego Comic-Con, when Core performs for the Masquerade halftime, we always, Nazanino Sabre Guild, we always perform with and in tandem with the Sabre Guild. They're awesome. They do these amazing performances. They do on these storylines, full cosplay, where they tell their own individual take on Star Wars stories. So they do have some iconic characters in there sometimes, but a lot of it is really just them. And that's what I really love about Sabre Guild, is that they kind of tell their version of stories. Just like how Core tells our version of anime stories or comic book stories. And that's the main reason, because if we're going to WonderCon dancing and performing next to Sabre Guild, and they come out with a Star Wars set, they never once said we couldn't do Star Wars. But that's also like stepping on their thunder. You know what I mean? Like, we can do so many different sets, and they're very dedicated to. Hi, babe. They're very dedicated to Star Wars. And so that's really the main reason, is that we want to keep Star Wars with them. Now, there was talks in the past of Sabre Guild and the Core Dance Crew meshing together and creating this awesome performance where we took their fighting and our dancing and then just blew everyone out of the water. And honestly, that conversation happened right before the Panini took over the world, and all those talks of trying to put Sabre Guild with Core Dance Crew to make a Star Wars set of epic proportions went out the window. So of course we'll talk about those later on, but it's also hard because Sabre Guild is widespread. They have so many different factions and so many different orders that have different groupings, and Core is very much centralized right here in the OC. So that's the main reason. But let's talk about Star Wars for a second, and let's just geek out about Star Wars. Because I want to say something that's going to be kind of controversial, and I actually don't know, and I love Train Bean, because sometimes when we agree on stuff, we agree so hard. And then when we don't agree on something, we don't agree so hard. And it's my favorite thing, because I love that about Train Bean. But let's see about some of the comrades that are out there in the world that are listening, and some of you out at Pop Shop. If you love Star Wars, I might say something that's controversial. I liked episode 1. I did. I liked episode 1 of Star Wars. Yeah, yes. And am I going to say it's my favorite? I don't want to say it, but I might think it. That episode's one of my favorite. Now, before everyone gets mad, there are people out there that are like, no, I didn't. Here's the thing. I know there's so many issues with episode 1. I know. I get it. There are problems. But here's the thing. I have 3 main things that I loved about episode 1. First is pod racing. Y'all, pod racing was the coolest thing in episode 1. You cannot tell me. First of all, the pod racing scene lasted way too long. Way too freaking long. It was like, I think it was almost like 20 minutes of pod racing. That's the longest you've ever done anything. Like 20 minutes in a movie, you're dedicated. That pod racing scene was epic. We went through every lap of that race. We didn't have to, but we did. And I was there for it. When I bought the DVD when I was a kid, I replayed the pod racing scene so many times because I thought it was brilliant. Also because, yeah, in the original, what was it? 4, 5, 6, the original 3 episodes, yes, they're great. Yes, they're classic. But there's also this big time jump between putting those up in the 80s, the 70s, and the 80s of production, and then you're making these ones in the early 2000s. Like, you have all this technology at your beck and call. And so the pod racing scenes, a mixture of like miniatures and digital effects and green screen, made it just so brilliant. Like at the time when that happened, I remember feeling like I was in the seat. And this was before 3D theaters were a thing outside of, Disney or theme parks. This was before you could go into Avatar and like wear the 3D glasses and be like, I'm in a 3D movie at the movie theater. But pod racing did that without those effects. And I thought it was so stinking cool. I was there for the rivalry. I was there for every twist and turn. Like I think what people get from Fast and Furious with how excited they get with those movies, I think that's what I get from pod racing in episode 1. Is like this adrenaline rush. This like, I'm totally living this best life. Oh, Maya's on both. If you're on the Pop Shop, just so pause, I am dual streaming. I finally got Pop Shop working. If you're on Pop Shop, hello, welcome. You can also order some of our awesome things. Pause in the stream. Pop Shop, we are doing a special on the Shield jacket from Fandomaniac. So we have this awesome jacket from Shield. It has the Shield symbol. Okay, Winnie, you need to turn, girl. Winnie is my dress form. It has a shield symbol on the back. So cool. And as for all Fandomaniac's bomber jackets, this is my favorite part. Y'all, there's an inside breast pocket. This is the coolest thing. I never carry a bag when I wear my Fandomaniac's jacket. I have so many of these that I wear on the daily. I have a Todoroki one, I have a Tanjiro one, I have Attack on Titan one, I have like 3 Attack on Titan ones. And now I have this Shield one. And so before it goes for about $60 today only for this stream, you can get this Shield jacket for only $45. And once you order it on Pop Shop, it's $5 for shipping, and that's it, flat shipping. So you can order any of the other stuff we have, like our Spring Blossom polymer clay earrings. I made these. You can see them on our Pop Shop. This took a long time to make. We also have I wasn't going to sell these, but I did make a few extra pairs. I just made these for myself. They're a galaxy form of the blossoms. So if you see these, they're like a galaxy form. They're like you can't really see the color on here, I don't think, but they're a navy blue glitter with like a Tiffany teal green in the center. So these actually, let me take a picture of these. Well, let me put them on a backing so that they look good. I'm actually going to sell those too. The galaxy ones are really nice. I didn't expect them to come out nicely. I literally just made them for myself, but they work perfectly for May the 4th be with you because they are galaxy themed. So I'm going to throw those up. So if you're on Pop Shop and you'd like to support the core, you can always pop on there and purchase one of these things. Okay? But anyways, so we talked about it. What? 3 things that I liked about episode 1 of Star Wars. 1 was pod racing. So cool. I'm trying to see what you guys are all saying. Yeah, Trini says big fan of practical effects. That's what made the the Star Wars movies, especially when they decided to do episode 1, because it's what, decades later since the originals, when back in, the 70s and the 80s, you just had practical effects at your disposal, and then you get into the late 90s and the early 2000s, now you have VFX and green screen, but they coupled both of them together, which gave it that grounded look but made it still look way more epic. Also, just so you all know, when George Lucas first made his Star Wars films, people thought that it was campy, they thought it was lame, no one thought it was going to be the franchise as it was. And if you think about it, if someone pitched to you Star Wars, like in the room, and you're like, okay, so it's like battles in space, and like there's this empire, but then there's like this one, and these, the destiny trope. He's the one, and he doesn't know, and he has to work, and blah blah. It just sounds spacey and nerdy. And then you watch, and you're like, this is perfect. This is everything that I love about life. So everyone that had problems with episode 1 being like campy, I'm sorry. Star Wars is campy. That's like the whole point. And it's camp done well. Let me throw up these Galaxy ones right here on Pop Shop. This is like a whole dual streaming, y'all. I'm finally doing it. Bam. Galaxy. Galaxy Blossoms. Do you guys want to name it? Or what am I calling these? I know there's a flower name in Star Wars, and it's eluding me right now. Galaxy Blossom earrings. Let's put that blossom earrings. Shabadoo shibaba gibada. Done. Bam. Those are up there. I actually have 2 pairs. I probably should have wrote that in there. There are 2. Only 2 pairs of those. So if you want them, buy them on Pop Shop. These are really pretty. I really love these. I don't think I'm making these again. So these are the only pairs that I have, because those colors were very particular. I might make other colors later on, because I love Galaxy things. Clearly, I love Galaxy things, if you see this painting that Sonali made for me. And clearly love Star Wars. So let's go on to number 2. Number 2, why do I like episode 1 of Star Wars when everyone is like, I hate episode 1? 2 was the lightsaber battles. Okay. And it also couples with 3. So 2 and 3 go together, because 2, I love the lightsaber battles, and 3, Obi-Wan Kenobi. In the original Star Wars, we got great Obi-Wan. We got wise, Dumbledore, Gandalf, Obi-Wan Kenobi. But episode 1 was the first time we got looking good, Padawan with his braid coming down, Obi-Wan Kenobi, prior to him being wise. He's like kind of a little reckless. He's still learning, and he got to fight. Like actually fight. Like really fight. And that's what I loved. That last fight. Also, okay, lightsaber battles, Darth Maul. The Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi 3-way battle was hands down like my favorite Star Wars battle. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, you can say the Red Room in the later ones, and that was like visually cool. It didn't make sense. And no matter what you say, it didn't make sense. And however you feel about Kylo Ren is his name, right? Yes. Sorry, I have to tell you something else about Star Wars that has to do with me and Rostin in our car and Kylo Ren. But Kylo Ren and Rey, like however you feel about Reylo, is that their name? Reylo. The Red Room scene was just really, visually, it was just satisfying. Like that was just a picture. Didn't need to make sense, satisfying. But before the last 3 came out, you just had, the 80s 3, 4, 5, and 6 come out, and you're like, the Star Wars battles, like the lightsaber ones, cool. They're cool. But again, over time, there's this finesse that happens, and there's this rise in caliber and standard. Stunt work from the 70s is very different from stunt work now. And that's not to say, 70s stunt work wasn't good, because back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, you had Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan in their prime with amazing stunt teams, that's a different genre. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Western stunt work. Western stunt work, where it changed. Lightsaber battles in episode 1 changed when Darth Maul came out. Like, bruh. Yes, Trini's right. Darth Maul was the only person to kill Liam Neeson. People have been trying to kill Liam Neeson in movies since then and have not succeeded. But that was such a good battle. When they walk up to the hangar and they see Darth Maul standing there, and he just looks good. Like, that makeup for Darth Maul, oh, so good. Like, how did you not think the episode 1 visually looked good? Because I also just loved that. I loved the style of Naboo. Naboo looked beautiful. That was a beautiful planet. The way that they decided to do Queen Amidala, brilliant. I loved everything. And then you have Darth Maul come forward, looking fierce. And I'm not even like a big fan of villains a lot of the time, but he deserved my respect. Okay? He's standing there. And then everyone's like, oh no, what do I do? And then Qui-Gon goes like, just go. Go do what you gotta do. We gotta separate and divide and conquer, blah, blah, blah. And then Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon take off their jackets. Their jackets. Their Phantomaniacs jackets. No, they take off their cloaks. They pull out their lightsabers. And Darth Maul, they're like, it's 2 of us versus 1 of you. We got a Jedi Master that was supposed to be on the council, but he was too diabolical and too radical to be on the council. And then you have his Padawan, who, if you know Obi-Wan's story, as like becoming Qui-Gon's Padawan apprentice, like that is he has this whole epic legacy going on. So it's like the legends are standing before you, and Darth Maul just goes, bruh, I got another side of my lightsaber. And that other side of the lightsaber pulls out, so he has a dual blade staff of a lightsaber, and that's the first time we'd seen that. I remember watching that in the theaters. I think I was I in middle school or was I in freshman in high school already? I can't remember anymore. I was either in middle school or high school, but I was like a teenager, a very young teenager, and I remember freaking out seeing that when it went blah, and I was like, oh! I was living. I remember sitting in the theater with my parents because my dad and my mom loved Star Wars too. And my sister was in it. I love watching movies with my sister because no matter what it is, she just gets in it, invested. She also ruins movies in the best way possible. Well, also ruins movies. Anyways, that lightsaber battle, and then when they got separated, oh my gosh, when they're going through the force fields, and then of course they all go up, and it's just Obi-Wan and then Qui-Gon and Maul are together, and Obi-Wan is so far back, there's no way he's gonna make it, and they're pacing, and Qui-Gon just, he goes quiet. Darth Maul's pacing like a predator, he's ready for the kill, and Qui-Gon just sits, and he like absorbs, and Obi-Wan is just tense. If you've read the novelization, which, yes, did I have a novelization of the episode 1, and is it considered canon? Yes, it is. I have that, and I read it right after I watched the movie back in the day. If you read that novelization, you know that then Qui-Gon sat down and he meditated. He knew he was going to lose the fight. It was totally a Goku versus Cell in the Cell games moment where he was like, I'm not fighting Cell to beat him. I'm fighting him so that my son Gohan can watch Cell and learn how he fights so he can defeat him, because I know he can defeat him. That's what Qui-Gon was doing. He was meditating, knowing that he would have to do his best to try to take Darth Maul down. But he knew that if he couldn't, Obi-Wan could. Because he saw something in Obi-Wan when he was his master. You guys, like, go into the Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan relationship. That is diabolical. Is my favorite one. I know everyone loves, like, Clone Wars and, like, Anakin and Ahsoka. We love it. But Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are my favorite master and Padawan pair. Hands down, forever. He knew Obi-Wan had this different take on the Force, a different sensitivity, and a different understanding than every other Jedi Knight out there. And so he knew that he would be able to take down Darth Maul. And when Qui-Gon goes down, when Darth Maul kills him, I felt the guttural scream of Ewan McGregor as he yells into the Force and he goes, no! And I was like, yo! And then Darth Maul's like, yo! And I was like, Bruh. It's about to go down. Like, Obi-Wan is having his catharsis in this moment. So that's why I loved episode 1. Like, if you loved Obi-Wan Kenobi as a character and you got to see the young version of him where he got to do stuff, that's the only reason the first 3 episodes are good. I mean, we're not there for Anakin. It's the story of how Anakin became Darth Vader. But at the same time, like, I don't know if it was intended or not, but, like, I didn't care about Anakin. I loved those movies because we got to see Obi-Wan be more Obi-Wan. He wasn't the wise teacher of Luke, and it really wasn't the Skywalker storyline at that point. We got actual scenes of watching Obi-Wan Kenobi be the Jedi Knight before, what was it, Order 66, the elimination order went out, which was great. And here's the thing, I don't like 2 and 3. I hate 2. I think people say episode 1 is the worst Star Wars. I think episode 2 is. I personally think episode 2. I feel bad for Hayden Christensen as a person because he just was not given, like, he was just not set up for success. And here's the thing, Natalie Portman is a good actress. And even she was kind of hard to watch in episode 2. And I think it was weird, which at the end of the day, what is Star Wars about? Star Wars, over all 9 episodes, is a love story. In the first 3, it's a love story of Anakin and Padme. In the next 2, it's like a love story that started with Luke and Leia, which the whole brother and sister thing, they did not know that when they filmed The Kiss. In the moment and in the time frame of them filming The Kiss, nobody knew they were brother and sister. Not even George Lucas. He had it in the back of his brain, but he didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell the actors. He didn't tell the producers. He didn't tell anyone on set. Like, no one. So then it became the love story of Leia and Han Solo. And then in the later ones, clearly, it was a love story of Rey and Kylo Ren. So what is Star Wars about? It's a love story. It's a space love story. It's a space opera, you guys. That's what Star Wars is. And if you're not down for that, I don't know what you're doing. Buy my Galaxy earrings. Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So that's what I love about episode 1. I also feel really bad for the actor of Jar Jar Binks because people, and here's the thing, I'm confused about this when it comes to Jar Jar Binks and the absolute hate of this character. The way people hate on Jar Jar Binks is very similar nowadays to how people hate on Sakura from Naruto. And this is what I mean by that. And table all of your criticisms on both Jar Jar Binks and Sakura and come with me on this journey for a second on why I don't understand the absolute hate of both these characters. Coffee for this. While I do that, I'm going to throw up this other... No. I need to drink this. Throw up another Phantomaniacs jacket in the pop shop. If you like Tanjiro, good old Tanny. He's up there. I love my Tanny jacket. You guys, these Phantomaniacs jackets are bomb.com. And I'm literally not just saying that. I own them for a reason. They're thin enough that I don't overheat, but I wear them on super cold nights to stay warm. I don't know how that happens. Like, I can dance in it and I feel comfortable, but also if I'm cold, that's all I need. I don't need to layer up. Okay, so the hate for Jar Jar Binks and Sakura. This is what I'm confused about. I watched Naruto, the first series, and then Shippuden as they came out. I was watching them as the episodes were being released. Just like I was there when we all waited for episode 1 to be released of Star Wars, and I was with the people who waited in line at midnight to go watch Star Wars, and I was in with the hype. When episode 1 first came out, and when Naruto was airing, people did not hate Jar Jar Binks and Sakura. They didn't. I'm sorry. You don't get to tell me differently because I was there. No one hated them. And I know this about Jar Jar Binks because there was so much Jar Jar Binks merchandise everywhere you went, and people bought it. Nobody hated Jar Jar Binks when episode 1 first came out. then again, no one hated episode one when it first came out. I mean, you had your trolls and you had your elitists who were going on, but it was a big deal. It resparked the franchise. It's the reason Star Wars got so much extra money for episode two and three. I mean, just look at the ticket sales for episode one. People did not hate Jar Jar Binks. And yet nowadays, if you go into the mainstream talks of Star Wars, or if you go into the mainstream talks of Naruto, people absolutely hate or break down Jar Jar Binks and Sakura. Now, for Jar Jar Binks, it's different. A lot of people say that there is a lot of cultural appropriation with this character, that it's a character of a lot of like cultures and whatnot, which is strange because I remember reading or watching, like when I love something, especially movies, I get in depth. I bought the encyclopedia of episode one. I also bought the movie companion that interviews all the actors and the creative. It's the one that has the script in the background. I also read all the interviews. The actor who played Jar Jar Binks helped to create that accent for Jar Jar. Like, and here's the thing. I know there's a racial undercurrent to it. I totally understand. As a POC, especially like you see it in Naboo, like the Asian influences in Amidala's. I say Amidala like we're friends. Queen Amidala's regal formal wear and her design, but here's the thing. It's sci-fi. Sci-fi takes its influence from stuff, but it's aliens. They're aliens, and they're a different culture. And I thought it was cool that you saw influences of other cultures in it. It's hard for me to think that that's appropriation only because it's not trying to be that culture. It's an alien sci-fi thing, and that's where that suspense of belief has to come in. So the actor for Jar Jar Binks, some people say that he was a representative of other cultures or other POCs, but at the end of the day, he's an amphibious alien who lives in a globe under the sea, and they developed that dialect. He developed that way of thinking, and it's weird because people hated on him later on and then hated on the actor, and I was like, this is an actor in prosthetics. Like, why would you go that far to hate someone so absolutely? But again, I don't remember people hating him when he first came out. It just became this decision later on, just like Sakura in Naruto. Did she do what Sasuke and Naruto did? No, she couldn't because she wasn't Naruto. She wasn't the main character who had a demon Kyuubi sealed inside of him, and she wasn't emo boy Sasuke who had to be the dark to Naruto's light. She had to be the Hermione Granger, the smart one. And so when Naruto was first coming out, people were like, Sakura. I loved Sakura. She was shippable with every character. You loved her, blah blah blah. She was there. She was cute and pretty, and she was strong. And then nowadays, people are like, she's trash, she's useless, I hate her. And it's the same thing I see with Jar Jar Binks. It's weird. What is this phenomenon that later on down the line, we decide to hate one aspect of a creation so absolutely as a group to the point where it's bandwagon hate? And that's the worst part. It's bandwagon hate, the hate of Jar Jar Binks. Just like Trini said in the chat, people hated the Ewoks when they first came out. It's weird. What? Sorry, I'm trying to like keep up with all your. Yeah, so that was the weirdest thing. I don't get that hate with Jar Jar Binks, and I honestly don't get the hate of episode one. Was I don't even know the kid who played Anakin Skywalker. I don't know the actor's name. Was he the best Anakin ever? I don't know. We don't know, to be honest. Was he the best child actor? I mean, he was okay, actually. He wasn't bad. And here's the thing, a lot of people, too, that criticize, like, the acting in the first episode, whatnot. A part of me also wants to go, like, okay, if you're going to criticize hardcore parkour, like, would you have done any better? No. Who would you have cast it with? Well, you didn't, because you weren't there. So, anyways. That's what I feel about Star Wars. That's what we're going to talk about Star Wars. So tangent, though, about Kylo Ren. So I said I had a tangent about me and Rastin and Makar and Kylo Ren. This is how much I love Star Wars. And Star Wars is something that's very meaningful to my life, as well as Kor's life, but also my life with Rastin. So it's weird to call him that because I don't call him that. We were watching Force Awakens? Is that episode 7? Force Awakens. I think so. The very first one of the new 3. So we're watching this, and we're sitting in the theater, and I'm in it. I love Rey. I think she's great. I love BB-8. Who doesn't love BB-8? I'm watching. Oh, I like Poe. Oh, I like everyone. What is this? Finn. I love all of them. Then Kylo Ren shows up. And we're like, another Darth Vader. And he's Kylo Ren, Kylo Ren, Kylo Ren. And then at one point, they talk about how that's his, like, Sith name. And I forget why we got this. We're getting to the end of the episode. We're getting to the part where like, Han Solo is... Spoilers! I mean, if you haven't seen it and you're watching this stream, this movie came out years ago. So I'm going to... Spoiler alert. I used to have a spoiler alert tag. This is what I used to do for spoiler alert. This is spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. There shouldn't be a spoiler alert. But Kylo Ren kills Han Solo. Yeah? We knew this. We've been new. You better have known that. That's weird if you didn't. But that whole scene... As that scene's coming up, I turned to Rostin. And I was like... You know where they meet on the bridge? It's Kylo Ren. And Han Solo comes out and he sees him. I turned to Ross and I go, what is Kylo Ren's name? We're in the theater, so I whispered it. I said, what is Kylo Ren's name? As the word name leaves my lips, Harrison Ford on the screen yells at the top of his lungs, Ben! And Rawson turns to me with all the nonchalance and he goes, it's Ben. And I don't remember what happened after that in the movie. Like, I didn't actually watch Kylo Ren kill Han Solo because I was laughing so hard that I was crying. So I've never seen, and I haven't rewatched Force Awakens since. So I have never seen him die. I just remember crying, and then someone at the end told me, I was like, wait, Han Solo died? And they're like, yes, there was a whole scene, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I was not there for that. I was crying that whole time. And so, with that being said, Rawson and I got a new car last year, and it's this RAV4, and it's like a dark gray. It's a dark color. So I was like, I like naming my cars. I like naming everything I have. My computer's named Maximoff, okay? My bigger computer is named Vision. Everything I name, I like to name things. So I said, we need to name our car. But it has to mean something to us. It can't just be like, I can't name it something just for me. Like, we do share Marvel, but I'm more of a Marvel person, so we couldn't use a Marvel name for it, which is what I usually use, my default for all of my devices. So I was like, what's good for us? He wanted to name it Shadow. He was like, let's name it Shadow because it's dark gray. And I was like, no, we're not naming it Shadow. That's not anything. And also, that's when Sheldon had his car Kage, which is also Shadow. So I was like, no, we're not going to share the same name. That's Shell's car. So let's name him something else. What's something we share? And then we thought about it. We're like, oh, Star Wars. And then he said, okay, well, it's dark. So like a Sith Lord. So then he said Kylo Ren. And then we looked at each other like, oh my God, Ben. Because that meant so much to us, finding out that his name was Ben. So that's the random tangent of why our car's named Ben. So like when we're with Joseph, or you will hear me on streams or live say like, oh, I'm Ben, that's Ben, I took Ben today. It's because our car's named Ben, because our car's Kylo Ren. Because Ben was named after ObiWan. Did you know that? They named him Ben because ObiWan's name when he was no longer Obi-Wan Kenobi was Ben. Weird cycle. Anyways, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's my favorite character, so... That's how much I like Star Wars. Physically, I'm here, and mentally, I'm in a galaxy far, far away. So that's what we're going to say for Happy Star Wars Day. But also, we can't just talk about Star Wars today, even though it is May the 4th be with you. Y'all, this is the Wednesday. This is the Beyond the Northern Wall that's going to come before this weekend. And what's happening this weekend? In literally 2 days. Which really, now, Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness comes out this weekend. Like, it's been an age, or I feel like it's been an age, since a Marvel movie came out, which is weird to say because No Way Home came out. But there's something about the Spider-Man movies that kind of separates itself from the MCEU, and it's not. It's still within the MCEU. But you know what I mean. Spider-Man's kind of like its own entity over here, even though it does fall in. So this is the first time since Endgame. Like we've stayed attached to the Avengers and to that section of the MCEU through the Disney Plus shows. So this is the first time we're really delving into these characters again since Endgame on the big screen. I'm so excited. Mini segue too. You guys, once the stream's over, which it's over in the next 20 minutes, this will no longer be $45. You can get it on Fandomaniacs, but it's about like a $60. That's not plus shipping. So today only you can get this for $45. It is a bomber jacket, super well made shield. It's in honor of Marvel coming out this weekend. I know we don't have like a Wanda or a Scarlet Witch. I know that'd be nice, but we do have shield because we did have an Agents of shield set. And who doesn't want to be an Agent of shield? Like, and I'm talking Agent of shield like under Coulson, because we loved it under Fury, but who didn't love it under Coulson, hey? And again, like I said, the best part, it's got this inside pocket. What you also can't see, you can see on Pop Shop a little bit here. Can you guys see this detail work? So it has that design work that narrows at the top. There's this pattern here and this straight shot that makes it look very similar to what Maria Hill wore. It's very much a shield jacket. You know what? Let me throw it on because now we're done with Star Wars. Yay! We got a purchase, Malia. Oh, she got the Spring Blossom earrings. Yes. So you got the purple ones. Yay! Get the lightning bolts up. These Spring Blossom earrings. We still have the Galaxy ones. So the Galaxy ones are still available. Oh, bam! If you want to buy these on Pop Shop, can you see that glitter on them? Will it focus? I hope you can see it. I hope you guys can see it here. Yeah, you guys can see it here. These ones are the really nice ones. These petals are all individually made. I'm not kidding you. This is, look at that. That's hard work right there. I make the cane and I have to make the veins, and so it's like folding and it's rolling and it's melding, but making the design just right so that it doesn't look like triangles. It looks like veins of a flower, and then I have to shape that ball of design into a cane the proper way, super small, and then I have to cut the thin little petals, and I have to use my fat little fingers to shape these delicate petals into a blossom and hope I don't tear it apart, and then bake it in a way so that it looks like a blossom. So I'm really, really proud of all my blossom earrings. So anyone who has them, which now we have a new owner for these. Congratulations, girl. Know that this was done with love and a lot of painstaking work. You can even ask, if you ever get a live with Joseph, you can ask him. He watched me put these together. This was, talk about labor of love and practice, y'all. Anyways. So I'm going to put this on in favor of Marvel. Now. Oh. Focus on me. Find me. YouTube. We are out of May the 4th. We are now talking about Marvel because we have to talk about Marvel because we only have this weekend of Marvel. Also, because Marvel and Star Wars are both Disney, that today I'm releasing my Disney earrings. They're little ombre. Can you see it here on YouTube? This light is not doing it any favors. Let me see. Let me angle it this way. Can you see this? Here. Oh. Why are you glaring? Oh, you can't see it on YouTube. Sorry, you guys can see it here on Pop Shop. On Pop Shop, it is an ombre. So I have a blue ombre, and there's also the green ombre. So it's like a minty green and white. And then I also have this pale blue and white. Let me put the mint green up there really quick. Disney's having a good week, guys. Star Wars Day today, and then Doctor Strange opens this weekend. Like, they're coming back. Yum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Disney ombre earrings in mint. Done. 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 Cool. So those are up in Pop Shop as well. I'm like getting blown out by my light. Let's chill this out, shall we? I'm baking. There we go. Oh, you guys, Winnie's naked. Sorry, Winnie. It's okay. Be proud of yourself, girl. You look great. That's my dress from Winifred. Winifred is a staple in my workshop and in my office. Over here, this is Mildred. Millie has been with me since forever. Millie's seen some stuff. So this is Millie, and this is Winnie. They're my co-hosts for Beyond the Northern Wall. So anyways, now I got the Marvel jacket on that you can purchase, and we're going to talk about Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. If you have not watched the Disney Plus television shows, you are not going to know what's going on. If you have not watched No Way Home, you are not going to know what's going on. And that's a good thing, because what's brilliant that Marvel did, that, I'm sorry, DC just found out recently with the acquiring of rights from Discovery. They're like, DC required new rights to more of their franchise and more of their icons through the absorption of Discovery. And so I think the spokesperson for Warner or something came out and was like, we realize that the DC, basically they said they realized the DC universe in cinematic world isn't as cohesive. There's a lack of cohesion with the DC movies, which everyone in the world was like, yes. Oh, Nipa's in the chat. What's up, Nipa? Nipa, you should go on Pop Shop and look at the earrings I made. You should look at the earrings I made. Nipa. Galaxy earrings. Someone get those Galaxy earrings. I love them. But I also want people to have them because they're really nice. Anyways. So, and that's the beauty of Marvel. Marvel did something so unheard of that people have been wanting for forever, which is this grand, cohesive, ultra metaverse where you transcend just one movie and heroes across different movies and even across streaming platforms are now connected. It happened with the movies at first when ABC first released Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. happened after the Avengers movies. If you know, after the first Avengers, Agent Coulson dies. But then they announced the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. television show on ABC where they actually bring Coulson back, and now he headlines and he's the star of this show where it's about the agents. Kind of, I think the way that they described it was them cleaning up after the big stuff that happens in the movies, which was really fun, was to watch these other heroes deal with the aftermath of what the movies were doing. So for a while, that work of big screen to little screen, that tandem was awesome. And one of my favorite ones was there was an episode directly from, I mean, there's two, and the second one kind of screwed them over, but when Thor: The Dark World, which is the Thor movie we don't talk about, I didn't hate it. I say that only because it was fun to watch Thor and Loki be brothers. That was like the only thing. But it just wasn't, it's not, I mean, it's on no one's list of my favorite things. Can we all agree on that? That the second Thor: The Dark World isn't people's favorite Marvel movie. But when that one came out, it had to deal with the Dark Elves, and then they came into London, and that's where the major fight happened, was in London. There's an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that came out after The Dark World came out in theaters, like I think a couple weeks after, where it showed the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cleaning up London after that invasion, which was so cool. Like, how meta is that? That you just broke it. You just broke out of that world and you made it cohesive with a television show that's airing weekly. Like, this was before streaming happened. This was before Disney Plus. This is when you were waiting for episodes to show up on your television screen. So cool. And then, of course, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, came out, which they revealed that Hydra was hiding inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that was correlated with an episode that happened at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which at the time really sucked because they were pairing the television show and the movies together, and they did not tell the showrunners of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that that's what was going to happen. So essentially, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over like what 10 episodes had been building their standard. It was like a mission a week. They were these ragtag found family group in a flying plane that could fly forever that would go around and do missions. So Marvel version of Firefly, because they wanted to resurrect Firefly, yeah, that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was. It was hands down their way of resurrecting Firefly without really doing it. Anyways, they got their thing. S.H.I.E.L.D. agents going out doing missions. Not the big ones that you see on the screen, but all the side ones. So they get to do the fun side stories. And then Winter Soldier obliterated that by destroying S.H.I.E.L.D. And that sucks. I'm so sad. Like, I feel so sad for them because the showrunners did not know that was happening. And they said that in an interview. They're like, it was great because for a while we were like, how do I highlight this? Sorry, I'm trying to put the Galaxy ones up here. Save. Bam. There we go. Sorry. There we go. So they like... I need to drink water. This isn't water. They didn't tell them that's what they were doing. And so they had to recreate S.H.I.E.L.D. almost completely in its second season, which was really sucky because you had this great formula of movies connecting to the television show, and then they just like didn't care. And it's sad because in the later seasons of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they just completely sever that tie altogether. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. became its own deviant thing. It tried to connect back to the MCEU always, or like tried to make sense of itself in the MCEU. But as I love Feige, but he did not give them grace on that, which was really heartbreaking. So, all of that sadness to be said, push that aside, we go from Endgame, and then Disney Plus opens up, and we have all of these television shows that directly contribute to the canon of the MCEU. Because right out of Endgame, we get into WandaVision. And WandaVision really didn't, like, there's the whole joke that the three people that broke the multiverse is like Scarlet Witch, Loki, and Spider-Man. But Scarlet Witch didn't really break the multiverse. She just introduced the possibility of the multiverse. That's what she did in her show. That's what WandaVision did. It introduced the extent of Wanda's powers within the concept of a multiverse. So, this is also why I have an issue. I don't know if anyone's seen, but if you go on my TikTok, not Core's, if you go on my TikTok, Master of Nowhere, there's my one like big viral one was me doing that game where like you have the shuffle of the Marvel characters. And so I played the game where each Marvel character that came up helped create my powers and my stats. And then the last one was the Marvel character that I had to beat based off of my stats. So it was like my IQ was Tony Stark. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm brilliant. And then I was like, my powers were Hulk. Which people are like, Hulk doesn't have powers. Yeah, Bruce Banner becoming the Hulk is a power. People are so analytical to the point where they're just being rude. So my powers were Hulk. That means Hulk. Does that mean that I get angry and I turn into a giant green monster? Yes, that was my powers. So now I'm brilliant and I'm Hulk. And then I put equivalent strength. My equivalent strength was Hela. It took Ragnarok to take her down. That's her equivalent strength. So I was like, whoa, I have like an OP character. And then I went to durability and it was Vision. And a lot of people were like, oh my god, Vision goes taken down so easily. He's made out of vibranium. He's a vibranium android with an infinity stone in his forehead. His durability was maxed out. It took another infinity stone to take him down. So let's just talk about that. So already, the intelligence of Tony Stark, the powers of the Hulk, the strength of Hela, and the durability of Vision, I was like, whoa, my character right now is the entire Avengers team. And then I was like, all right, so what's my specialty? And then Captain Marvel showed up. So I have any one of her specialties, which is, I don't know, cosmic blasts, flying, the ability to live in space. I was like, yo, I am the strongest Avenger at this point. And then the enemy that I had to fight was Scarlet Witch. And in that moment, I was like, I'm dead. I'm dead. And a lot of people thought it was just funny. So if you see that TikTok on my TikTok, you'll see why. A lot of people were like, oh my god, that's hilarious. But other people were like, no, your character totally would have owned on Scarlet Witch. She has a male, blah, 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 her in the movies. Okay, let's go for a second. In the Marvel movies, up until WandaVision, she has never been the Scarlet Witch. We know that Wanda Maximoff is the Scarlet Witch, but she has never been the Scarlet Witch until after WandaVision. Prior to that, she was just Wanda. She was Wanda, who was a kid who had the latent ability of all, like, reality altering powers in her, awakened by the Mind Stone. And a lot of people are like, Mama, the Mind Stone didn't give her those powers. That's not what it did. Clearly, you saw that in the first Avengers movie. It didn't give the Professor the power to create the portal in space using the Space Stone. It just opened his mind of what was already there so he could fully access his own intelligence, so he could properly utilize the Space Stone in order to open up the portal. That's what the Mind Stone does. It just awakens what's already there. That's what it did with Hawkeye. It didn't give Hawkeye powers. You guys, it just blew up Hawkeye's strategic mind and made him the perfect killer for the Avengers. And that's what it did for Wanda, which is what we see in WandaVision. The Mind Stone opens up her potential. And her potential was the potential to be Scarlet Witch. But she does not assume that mantle until she goes up against Agatha Harkness and taps into that side with the Darkhold and everything. She was not Scarlet Witch yet. The minute she assumes the mantle of Scarlet Witch, she's now at the point where she is completely absorbed. She is Naruto with all 9 tails. She is Sasuke with his full-blown cataracts in his eyeball. She is Goku level, like God Saiyan. You know what I mean? That's what happens when she becomes Scarlet Witch. Her full potential comes out. So if it was me versus Wanda Maximoff, oh yeah, I would have owned Wanda in like 2 seconds. I just have to look at her wrong and she'd be like, I'm emotionally unstable. But when her assuming the mantle of Scarlet Witch, do you understand? People are like, you would tear her down. You could blast her with your Captain Marvel blast. You're so quick. You're so smart. You can outsmart her. You're so strong. You could crush her. And I was like, y'all, she's Scarlet Witch with reality altering powers. All she has to do is look at me and say, no. And that's it. And I'm done. And I've been known. And I don't exist anymore. Because that's what Scarlet Witch's powers do. You do know in House of M, in the comic books, she erased mutants from the planet by saying 3 words. No more mutants. She said those 3 words and she altered reality. She completely wiped out the X gene and made X-Men and mutants an endangered species for years. And then later on with the Phoenix Force and Avengers vs. X-Men, she was able to use the Phoenix Force to harness, because Phoenix Force is all about rebirth. I'm giving you a crash course in comic book right now. It's all about rebirth. With the help of the Phoenix, channeled through Hope Summers, she was able to bring back the mutants. So Wanda's powers as Scarlet Witch they're magnanimous, y'all. Like, they're big. Sorry, I'm like switching. Yeah, so she's the boss. So that's what WandaVision was all about, was the possibility of these multiple realities, of the openness and the extent of Wanda's powers within reality. Then we got Loki. After WandaVision ended, that was the first streaming on Disney Plus, and it was brilliant. Like, WandaVision as a show, beautiful. Then you get Loki. Loki actually does make the actual multiverses. So prior to, these are all spoilers, but again, if you haven't watched this stuff, then you shouldn't be watching Doctor Strange this weekend. Loki didn't break into the multiverse just yet, but he helped create the multiverse, because prior to that, if you get to the end, you had the Watcher or whatever, and the Conqueror, what's his face? He has so many names. But he was keeping the branch of time so that it was one. And they were snipping. They were pruning. You know what I mean? That was the whole storyline. You have to take away the variants because you don't want prunes going out, blah, blah, blah. You don't want branches because then it makes a multiverse. And then what happens at the end of Loki? At the end of Loki and Sylvie end up actually breaking everything and branches out. It branches out. Oh, I need to plug in my phone. Oh, God bless America. I need multitask in this world. So I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds because I'm going to plug this in. Dive! Oh. Come up for air. Don't die. Don't die. Die not. Die not. Let me plug this in real quick. Oh, don't do that. Please. I need something here. Ooh, hold on. I'm MacGyvering right now, y'all. This is great. This is what happens when you stream on your own and you don't have the materials to do it. Yay! I did it. Woohoo! So they created the multiverse in Loki. And then you got to What If. And a lot of people didn't watch What If. A lot of people wrote off What If as something you didn't need to see because it was like an anthology series. It was a Disney Plus Marvel show that was like animated. And it wasn't like the live actions. And it didn't have the actual characters. It was voiced by a lot of the original actors. But a lot of people didn't watch it. And I was just talking with some of my techs at Knots. They're like, yeah, I watched WandaVision, I watched Loki, but I didn't watch What If. You have to watch What If before you watch Doctor Strange. Because What If is still in the canon. And it was just brilliant. If you love all the different universes and all the different variants of Marvel, like they hail to Marvel Zombies, that title was so good. That was awesome. There's so many elements in What If that happens that can and will be incorporated into the MCEU because they said it's part of the canon. And then, of course, after that, you have to watch No Way Home because No Way Home is where Spider-Man, and with the help of Doctor Strange, or Doctor Strange with the help of Spider-Man, spoilers, again, you shouldn't be watching Doctor Strange if you don't know this, is where they actually break it. And now the multiverse is now seeping in. And all those things are colliding. So it was a gradual buildup of all the Marvel Disney Plus shows. You had WandaVision, Loki, What If, and No Way Home. Now, granted, those aren't the only ones. Am I forgetting one? I'm not forgetting one. It just doesn't fall into the multiverse grand scheme of things. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was honestly, it was like the side story you needed. Like that one in Hawkeye were the side stories you needed to establish this new generation of Avengers. Which, again, you would need to watch those because we don't know what's going to happen in Multiverse of Madness. We don't know what canon things in Falcon and Winter Soldier and Hawkeye are going to come into play when we get into Multiverse of Madness. Which, by the way, the only reason to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier is because you want to see Dez be a Winter Soldier. If you don't know who Dez is, watch the first episode. And the guy with the good hair who throws those duffel bags down onto the ground in perfect parallel formation, lands, and then like clocks, what was it, Bucky? I think he clocks Bucky like in the face. That's Dez. You should all follow him and you should watch his show on With Love because Dez is awesome. And we should all cosplay Dez at a convention one day because that's my goal in life, to cosplay Dez. Not a character Dez has played, but Desmond Chiun as like the person. Anyways, so that's what you have to watch, these shows, and you have to watch No Way Home in order to get to Multiverse of Madness. Now, I want to know what you guys think. So in the comments below, because we're going over time and we're going to have to close this stream in a little bit. Again, this is your last chance to buy this jacket at a discounted price. It's not going to come around again, so you need to get it now. Otherwise, it's going to shoot back up and you'll never, ever see this awesome jacket with its cool inside pocket that I can put. Remember my wisteria poison? I can literally put it in this inside pocket, you guys. I love that. Look at that. Y'all want some poison? So while this stream ends, I want you to go into the comments or in the chat right now, predictions of what's going to happen in Multiverse of Madness. Because there's so many things that could happen. Anything that they do, I'm here for. I will support however Marvel wants to go about this. I almost can't even predict what's going to happen because so many things could. I'm just so excited because literally they're like, let's play. And we have so many things that we could play with. And the fact that we're even going to see zombie Wanda is just crazy. And this is the first time on the big screen we are going to see Scarlet Witch go full throttle. Like, y'all, we're hitting the NOS on the dashboard. It's gonna go insane. I'm excited to see how Elizabeth Olsen portrays Wanda now as Scarlet Witch on the screen. Like, y'all, if you want to know the formula for the Wisteria poison, you have to become a patron. And Pop Shoppers, thank you for joining in, but make sure you check out all the inventory. Let me add one more thing in there. Oh no, not create new. One more thing, because we were talking about Galaxy and because it's May the 4th be with you, I'm adding in our leggings, our Galaxy leggings, and also the Galaxy tote that we have. These were designed by Sonali. Galaxy is very much in our aesthetic. I love it. And it works with Star Wars Day. Who doesn't love Galaxy things? And also it works with Multiverse because we're about to, meet a lot of different galaxies and whatnot. So next week we won't get to talk about Multiverse of Madness, but we might do a little, maybe live stream on Instagram, possibly. I want to get the Corsman in there. I want to get Trini talking about Marvel movies because her insight on a lot of things that she's watched is really good. And then maybe we'll get some of the new recruits in there talking about the Marvel movies that they've seen and watched. But I want to hear your guys' predictions and to add it into the comments of what you think is going to happen, what you're excited for, or even just from the trailer, what you can't wait to see. Especially because we know the trailers can be so deceiving. Remember in Ragnarok when it looked like Hela was breaking Mjolnir in an alley in New York, and that's so not what happened. So we don't even know if what we saw in the trailers is what we're going to see in the movie. So I'm so here for it. I'm so excited to the point where I won't be able to I might be so excited that I might pass out and fall asleep, which is what I feel in a lot of Marvel movies. I get so excited for it that I'm just I just exhausted myself. So mad props for that. Thank you guys for staying for the stream. But before we go, let's do some shout outs, shall we? Ba-bam! If you are not a patron yet and you'd like to be a patron, you can become a supporter of the core by joining us on www.patreon.com. And as little as $2 a month, you become a cadet. You can go up to 5 for captain tier and 10 for commander tier. We have a Discord, and in that Discord is where you're going to find all the recipes that I have for all the drinks that I do. Like I said, this week I was going to do a Star Wars drink, and I didn't get to it because my prep for this live was so short coming from work. But next week, we are doing the Harry Potter theme next week, so I am going to have a Potter-themed drink then. And so if you want those recipes or any special insight or behind the scenes, become a patron because they're the ones that get it. Also, we have all of our affiliates. If you saw Mini Boba Boutique, we just did a giveaway with them recently with that Boba backpack. I have that Boba backpack. Let me grab it. This right here. This Boba backpack. We just did this giveaway with the Boba backpack that you see. You can order it at a discounted price. Go to Mini Boba Boutique and use promo code THECORE. You can get it 10% off, and all those affiliate proceeds go back to the core dance crew, and it's awesome. Then, of course, we also have, bam, 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 Fandomaniacs. If you don't want to buy any of our jackets here or you want to see the other merchandise that they have, their merchandise, this jacket right here, but they also have sweaters, they have anime gear, they have a new summer line coming out. Head to Fandomaniacs, use promo code CORE10, and that gets you 10% off of your order and also helps take a lot of the taxes off because it does come from overseas. And their line of fan merch is amazing because it's Fandomaniacs, which means it's fan-made by fans for fans. It's a great company. I really love this company. We really love working with them. And then, of course, our old and true affiliates, Kaiben Zero, right here. The Bakugo design is from Kaiben Zero. They do these awesome, very urban street style pieces. They do shirts and hoodies. You can go to kaibenzero.com and use promo code THECORE to get a percentage off, and they're also our affiliates. Their stuff is really nice. Their designs are really fun, and their stuff is super comfortable. Like, I love, this is the Bakugo sweater. I love it too because it has Deku on the side for Bakugo. It's Deku just taking a hit from Bakugo, so if you like that. They also have awesome Jujutsu Kaisen totes, which that's one of my favorite totes that I have. And they come out with a new line, at least I think every month, if not bringing back old designs. They also have a Sailor Moon line that's really dope. So you can go to them and check their stuff. All proceeds from our affiliates go directly to Core. They don't go to anyone. They go straight to our stage productions, filling out cosplays, tech, stage props, everything. We are a cosplay dance crew that does it for the love of the art and the nerd in our hearts. And everything we do is out of passion and honest to God fandom nerdiness for what we love to put on stage. So with your help from the patrons, your help on Pop Shop, and your help with buying from our affiliates, not only are you supporting small businesses that deserve it, you're also supporting the core in doing what we love to do, which is bringing you entertainment by putting fan fiction on stage. That is the best description of core ever. We put fan fiction on stage. And you know what? Maybe one day we'll do Star Wars. Only because I really, really want a lightsaber. If you haven't done your lightsaber test yet, go do that and then find this live and put your lightsaber color in the comments and tell me if it's the proper one. Because yes, there is a test for lightsaber. I don't know them off the top of my head. I know green is supposed to be like the guardian. You're a good teacher. Blue, you're really in tune with the force. White is like you are ultimate. For like Ahsoka's the only one who has a white lightsaber. Red, of course, is Sith. Purple, you're towing the line between dark and light. And then yellow is like the Sentinels. You're supposed to be super. You're almost like the Eliminators and the Assassins. You're so neutral that you have no emotions. You just do what has to be done without any consideration to anything. I got yellow, which I felt was wrong. Because to say that like I have no emotional attachment and can just be an assassin, I have a lot of emotional attachment to things. I'm very, very passionate. Which is weird because as a Capricorn, it's like, Capricorns don't have emotion. No, we're just busy. But like I don't see myself as like, I would like to be stoic and cold and merciless in my decision making, but I'm not. I'm super passionate and I invest too much thought and emotional sides of myself into things. But then I went on TikTok, and you know on TikTok they're like, I made 12 of these and don't cheat. This next one is, this is your color. Well, someone did that with lightsaber colors. And they're like, don't cheat. Whatever shows up is supposed to be your lightsaber color. I got the same guy 3 times on 3 different accounts that I manage. And all 3 were the same one. And it was rainbow. And I thought about it. I was like, this is, I said it on the second time, but I made a TikTok. I was like, this is the second time I've gotten rainbow. Which we all know it shows up based off of your For You page. So maybe that's something we need to explore. But I got rainbow, which I like way better than yellow. I don't even know if rainbow is one of the official lightsaber colors. But hey, go find your official lightsaber color and tell me if it fits you or not. Because some people are like, I'm totally purple. And then they're like, not purple at all. They're like red. And I was like, well, lean too far one side, did ya? Hey? So that'll be super fun. I know there's like black. There's also orange. There's every color is represented in the lightsaber. So go do that. And go check out all our affiliates and join us on Patreon. If you want to know more about the core in general, head to our website and follow us on Instagram. We have a lot of stuff coming up. We have our performance in June, on June 11th, with Ronin Expo, where we're going to debut a live, full-length production. Super excited for that. And everything that we're doing here on Pop Shop and everything that I do here on YouTube is to help those productions. So thank you guys for tuning in. This was an extra long stream. I hope you guys get a nice drink. If you want the Wisteria Poison and you have that recipe, go make some for yourself. Kick back because, hey, it's Wednesday, at least here in the States, and you're halfway through the week. So put your feet up and enjoy. Have a good dinner. May the 4th be with you. Always beyond today, because we all know we need a little bit of 4th in our daily routine. And go watch Multiverse of Madness and cry with me because I'm just going to be so happy. Tomato on 3. 1, 2, 3. Tomato! Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see y'all next week for our Harry Potter themed stream.